get your hands onto some of the higher tiered sets. Considering Immortal War, it's a lot harder to be able to pick those up. OUG's Mike and XCG's Wang Liang taking a fight against each other immediately off of the rip. Dual halberds for Mike to be able to keep this pursuit up as well. One of the better moving weapons with all of the tech that you can do with the charge LMB, keeping the pressure up onto Wang Liang, who has got himself a great fan and is playing around the spacing of that RMB, just throwing it out, trying to catch Mike, who loses that bubble, gets a little bit of sustain onto that Z-ping. Mike coming in with the RMB, finds the uppercut into grapple bump, into RMB charge up. Mike with the combos, just making it look absolutely flawless. And as a result, the Z-ping is just going to have to back out. But this is where Z-ping is so darn strong on Holoruff. You can get that heal, you can get that sustain on the go, unlike some of these other heroes who have to take a little bit of lull to be able to properly get these pots off. Wang Liang has got himself a purple katana, is using that to create the spacing, goes for the scale rush, uses the ultimate. Mike with the grapple bump is going to be able to find another connection into the R&B follow-up, coming into the jump horizontal, will be able to claim the kill, and that is Mike in a very fitting beginning to the NBPL season, picking up first blood, our resident champion and world champion, managing to take the first kill of the lobby.
As we turn over to Jails, AS picking up an elimination onto Frostivus. Frostivus going to be forced to use that early resurrection. Arano, though, going to come in and steal the bloom out from underneath AS here. So AS not going to have that bloom in the back pocket heading into the realm of Yang. AS coming in with the staff into the weapon swap combo there off of the pole sword, immediately just putting in massive damage onto Arano with the uppercut off of the roof there. That bubble not going to do a lot here for EWG's Arano. They are getting a significant amount of healing coming in from the ultimate as it comes to be forced out. AS backing off here, looking for an opportunity, will walk into that staff jump left click though, going for the purple staff combo there, but the ranged weapon pistol comes out and Arano picks up the elimination, who will immediately take up the bloom as Roy Shishi rolls up to the fight here, looking to make a move on to our boy here from EWG Arano, but Roy not finding a good intro, will find a couple of really good pistol shots though, and forcing Arano to be back on the move yet again here. Arano making great use of the terrain here with those scale rushes to try to use Roy Shishi here, able to get roof side here, waiting for Roy to come out, will find the scale rush, but Roy with the blue will connect over top of the white scale rush there, so Arano going to take a ton of damage in the exchange. The Tessa F has been invested to knock Arano away, and I do believe I hear another pistol in the distance, Moxie?
I think that was actually Roy Shisha just going for the pistol disengage to keep pressure onto Arana, so he was able to get the spacing for a little bit of reset. This is what happens when, unfortunately, you're another hero into a Z-ping 1v1. Because the Z-ping can heal when the fight is still going on, as opposed to yourself, where, like the Tessa, you're forced to utilize that F, create a little bit more spacing, go for the pistol swap, and then with that distance, try and take a moment to heal and come back into full. The longer this fight goes on, though, the more taxing this is going to be for the Tessa. What? Parry coming through from Roy Shisha. Fully charged scale rush is a blue focus and is parryable on reaction. That's exactly what Roy Shisha is able to do. Coming in with the pulse of looking to try and find another parry. Arana not feeding into it. However, as Roy Shisha, unfortunately, having that pulse sword, it's incredibly clunky in the 1v1. Has to try and throw out the ultimate, but as we talked about, the Tessa in the 1v1 struggles when you don't have two teammates to create all of the spacing, and light stagger to lock these players into not being able to dodge it. We're going to see the scale rush connection from Roy Shisha using that stagger frame to be able to set another ultimate up. Will be able to connect the tether. There's the enchantment window. Roy Shishi managing to come in with a huge chunk of damage onto Hirano, but he just cannot commit to the fight because he knows the Tessa is not going to be able to kill the Zip once that enchantment wears on out. He has to give up the space, back away, and this is really dangerous for the Tessa since he's just used two of his ultimates, and that is all he's going to have for a little while longer, as opposed to the Zip who's going to be coming back in onto full. Mike getting hit by the Tessa V1 is going to try and interact with the own, won't be able to cancel the tether at the moment, does take the enchantment, chucks an absolute sliver of health, decides to use this opportunity to try and scale rush disengage away from the Justina who's about to come in with his ultimate. Mike might be able to actually use that one to find the connection. Grapple bump gonna be onto Jux, who has to use the F. We're going to see the ultimate come through from Mike, looking to lock down the Tessa, dodging around the next frame of that V1, and that is the Tessa gone. And as we talked about, this Tessa is really struggling in the 1v1's rune. You can tell that when the ultimate comes through, if you don't have it off of a stagger frame up, it's just not going to connect.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As we move over immediately, the rematch between Alliance's Frostivus and Jail's AS. Again, Frostivus with no resurrection available to him here, coming in here looking to find a little bit of revenge onto AS, but AS is just taking control of the situation. The pillar down as well. AS trying to make the fight go around it. Will find a little bit of an armor swap there as well, and then swaps back into the white armor as Frostivus starts to take control of this with the fan. AS trying to move back towards the pillar. Frostivus trying to keep him away, but unfortunately not enough range there. AS is going to get the pot off and continue the chase here in the mech form. The V3 coming through to save AS as Frostivus will find the full reset and waits for a good opportunity to take an engagement here. AS just sitting topside here. Frostivus will take one cannon shot there, goes for the scale rush. We will see the mech disengage here, and now Frostivus just getting carried here by the dagger off of the rooftop. Frostivus trying to make his way around here with the fan, misses the parry into the uppercut off of the dagger here as Frostivus goes extremely low, but he refines the combo there. We will see the F1 invested, and Frostivus, against all odds, finds an opening to take the victory here in the rematch with JL's AS.
Oh my goodness, that terrain almost actually cost Frostivus, putting him out of the lobby early because of where he took the fight. He took so much damage in the launcher and was able to just take even more damage off of that horizontal float because he goes from a high vertical position to a low one, and that just keeps him in the air so much longer. But with the R&B catch out and scoop, the stagger on that fan, he's able to find the turnaround as Mike is going to find himself in a 1v1 up against GG Sha. Justina with that katana coming on through, swaps over to the fan and the bow to begin this fight, holds on to the ultimate. Going to just charge up and hold that rush as long as possible. Sha, however, getting to come in, forces Mike into having to go for the free shell from early, managing to find the parry. One of the Justina's main defense is gone. The R&B on rotation just continues to come out from the ferry. We're going to see the Justina ultimate having to be invested so Mike can find the spacing and try and keep a little bit of pressure out onto Sha. Coming on in now with that bow, trying to find any damage that he can. Scale rush will be able to connect, and the freeze as well off of that V2. Sha dropping that pillar, going to go into the mech. Justina, however, against the ferry does get an extended freeze onto transformer units, and as a result, Sha is not going to be able to utilize this ultimate the way that he wanted to. Mike with the bow can continue to apply pressure while waiting to see if he has to dodge around the cannon shots. As a result, Sha takes the opportunity, gets a full heal off, now goes into the cannon. Mike dodging it behind the pillar, and that is the ferry mech gone, but the Justina ultimate is going to be coming out of Mike as well. As a result, the R&B from Mike once again catching him. Mike getting to go against the R&B, yet again dodging behind Sha, eats another R&B, mistimes the jump parry, has to go for the free shell and look to back on out. 3 seconds left, he's accepted he's not going to be able to win this. He just decides to kite, so both these players are hit by that Yang depletion and have to find a body and assault him as a result, as Frostivus off screen is going to be able to pick up a kill into EWG's Arano. Mike really mistiming the reads on the R&B on the fan is not the way that we expected this first match to play out.
No, not at all. This is quite a crazy fight going in there. The Faria, as long as they have the F up, they can actually just abuse the constant R&B there off of the fan, because they know if they get parried off of it, they can immediately just invest the F to get out. Smart gameplay coming through. They're able to extend the fight out. Mike also playing very well. You know, a great selection on the hero coming in here on Justina as well, knowing that there's so many Farias in the lobby. Like you said, of course, Justina getting that extended freeze onto the Transformers gives Mike a fairly decent advantage. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to take as much advantage of it as he would have liked to inside that realm of Yang. The Yang gets timed out, so now he's on the depletion, and it looks like he's coming back here. Maybe does still have a body stash. There it is. Mike holding on to the bloom is still going to be in the game here very easily. He doesn't have to hunt anybody down. You can see the members of Alliance and Wolves here also with that Vermilion Bird's Might winning their
XXY.
respective realms of Yang. Yeah, XXY coming in here needs to take this fight here. PST from J Team coming in with the staff, looking to close this out, but PST trying to move away. Doesn't clearly want to take the fight down on that terrain, wants to bring it topside here with these dual halberds, wants to have the availability for that scale rushing, right? The scale rush coming in from the dual Hallies, giving them a lot of spacing and tools to be able to use here as they catch the charged R&B coming in. They will get the flank onto the staff. The bubble coming in from XXY going to give him control of the spacing on this fight here. As PSD takes a lot of damage. The healing coming back through. They'll go find another left click into right click there. The third party coming in from UG's Mike coming in. XXY going to be in huge trouble. Mike knows this is going to put them out of the game. They get their revenge for the Realm of Yang as Mike picks up yet another elimination, going to 4, but now is going to turn on to PST here. PST forced to go into the mech, but again, Mike's still here in the ultimate, has a freeze left, has an opportunity to take advantage of it. There it is. They're going to find it with the jump cancel in to do huge damage there just in time. They are able to get that shield down, get that cannon shot out, and push Mike off, but that pole sword doing a ton of damage in the process. PST not getting the full availability of that ultimate there is going to come back to haunt them here as Mike tries to come in. PST able to get a little bit of a heal off, not a big one. Mike coming in though with the fan, catches the RB, finds a second one, and Mike picks up their 5th elimination.
Yeah, Mike is purely just running counter Farrier at this point with the pulsar in the back pocket. This is the way that you just mince and shred through the Transformer armor when they go for those ultimates. Running the V2 variation as well stops a lot of that third party potential from coming on as we're going to see EWG's Arano looking to put this pressure onto the Justina. There is a bounty on Mike's head. He knows that the ultimate has just been used. We're going to see the Skirmish attempt coming on through with the pulsar to get the maximum amount of damage as the fight begins, and another will be able to connect onto Mike. He has to go for a gray armor shield swap. This is something that Mike is known for. He takes fights in locations where he already maps out where all of the resources are so that he can just flit around his settings and find a little bit of reset while still on the move, as all of the damage that he's done to Arano will be able to build up that ultimate jabbing attached on the staff as well, and Arano has absolutely no idea that the soul data is attached. He's going to be saved by the third party coming on through. TE's Jux now deciding to enter the fray, going to throw the ultimate out, manages to connect onto Mike. Tessa ultimate does still go through walls, so Mike is not going to be able to interact with the urn, decides to put himself onto the high ground so that when he gets enchanted there is no follow-up that either of the two players in the area can use to punish him, as Mike just continues to make sure that he is a moving target and not one to easily pin down on. He has the ultimate if he decides to back on off properly as well, but that gray armor is making the fight a little bit too hot for the Justina's blood. He's already been able to come in with a sweeping 5 kills. He doesn't need to play super aggressively. He just needs to be able to play with some of those survivals to make it into better placement points. Speaking about knowing his settings, there it is. He loops back, picks up the blue armor, gets a little bit of a reset, and now runs directly into GG Sha. There is no way that he decides with blue armor to go for a Realm of Yang. He absolutely does. Oh my goodness, it's Mike versus Frostivus. Frostivus with a legendary fan. Speaking about the fan Ditto, when we were seeing these players practicing at J-Cup, Frostivus was able to come out on top. Now he has to be able to make the same magic work. Both of the players going aerial. Frostivus with the bow trying to just shred through the little shield that Mike has. Doesn't know that jabbing's in the back pocket. We're just going to see the gust being used to buy a little bit of spacing as both of these players challenge with the Skirmish. Mike is going to be able to get the better read, however, and Frostivus having to use that bubble, decides to back on off, puts himself onto the pillars, tries to charge him up, sits in the blue focus, not get staggered out, just tries to play around the spacing that staff provides with all of the range. Utilizing the pillar will be able to get the ultimate to pop at the moment. Nice spacing as well to avoid that uppercut connection from Mike coming on through. Double jump to be able to land the next bubble, but Mike is able to catch him on the back foot. There we see the uppercut transition, but there's no pulse sword. Instead, it's going to be the light stagger into the ultimate connection onto Frostivus, is now being juggled up into the area. Isn't the fan Ditto? It's the staff able to win with all of the distancing that it provides. Frostivus now with the R&B on that fan, utilizing it for as long as possible to hold the focus and not get light staggered into position before he's able to come back in with a bubble. Throws out the R&B once, doesn't manage to find the second connection. Mike able to clank it with one of the staff focuses and will be able to find the kill off of the 1-2 light lock.
Mike is just him. He is coming in and saying, put some respect on my name, ladies and gentlemen. I am the world champion for a reason. Game 1. The man has 6 eliminations as we head out of our second Realm of Yang. Frostivus is coming in here, 2 under his belt here. Unfortunately, loses that matchup there into Mike. Mike playing that so clean. It just so many opportunities there for Frostivus to try to make something happen, and Mike is just able to capitalize. Frostivus coming out into the zone here where he does have a Bloom stash, so he is still in this game. This legendary fan, purple armor, this is a position Frostivus has been in many times before. He knows how to maximize his score coming out of these games. We take a look here. Wolves, CDY, also known as the big boy himself, Panda Man, coming in looking to try to make something happen as he loses his Realm of Yang, as well as we cut over to WBG Spider, who has been unusually quiet in this first game. Moxie here going in, will catch on with that ultimate, is going to look to pressure away from GG Shaw and OUG's Mike here, because this is not a position WBG Spider wants to be in. He has been in this position many times before with Shaw and Mike on the hunt for him. Spider here utilizing the dagger here, playing a little bit of the ring around a Rosie here. We see this all the time, these players utilizing the towers here for those scale rushes just to keep themselves alive. Spider trying to find a way to either get a heal off or move that target acquisition onto somebody else, but everybody in the lobby hungry here to pick up the elimination on Spider, but it's Mike who drops down, catches the refreeze there, and just immediately gets the elimination there on to Spider. Mike so happy about that one as he moves to 7 eliminations, and there's almost no way anybody in this lobby catches up to him now, Moxie.
Yeah, and he didn't have to invest the ultimate to be able to do so. We are going to see Ballista being in control by GG Shah, one of those players who loves to have this position and threaten the spacing of everyone else around him. And as a result, we're probably going to see some players be a lot quieter in terms of taking these fights. Unfortunately, CDY, otherwise known as Pandaman, doesn't have much choice in the matter. He's under that Yang depletion. He only has 2 minutes. You can see the timer counting down live on the left side of the screen. If he doesn't get a kill, isn't able to find a soul bloom, he's out of this lobby. As a result, he has to keep the fight up, but unfortunately for him, the fight that he's up against is up against a Z ping, and even though we're able to see the parry come through successfully against Arano, he's just not able to make the damage tip because the Zip can just get all of the sustain, and instead it gets turned onto CDY when another player comes in for the third party, the Tessa ultimate through the fence, catching out the Farrier, and as a result, we have to see the V3 invested. Pandaman, otherwise known as CDY, taking that opportunity to be able to look for a reset and get a little bit of a heal off, but he still has to stick around in the vicinity. Even if Arano goes down, as long as he's able to get to the body in time, he's still going to be able to keep himself in the lobby. Assault Smolder coming on through into the connection. That's going to be problematic for the Zip because the fire tick does reduce the healing efficiency, and after that, CDY will be able to find the kill. Did he get the bloom? He did. Double tapping the E, will be able to interact with it immediately, doesn't have to open the body's resources and rifle through it the hard way, and as a result, CDY is able to pick up the bloom before it can be intercepted, and that's exactly what the other player wanted to do. Stop CDY from picking that bloom up. Because of the way that CDY was taking that fight, it was obvious that he was needing to. It was obvious that he was under Yang depletion. If Jux had been a little bit faster, CDY would not still be in the lobby, but as it is, he's going to be able to continue and breathes a massive sigh of relief because when you're third in the standings, you do not want to go out to that depletion buff.
Can we talk about the fact that Wolves picked up one of my favorite players, and I'm still at heart a Wolves fanboy, Moxie? CDY, aka Pandaman, coming in, the people's champion, if you will, especially in NA, a very favored face. Happy to see him back here and performing very well for his first game back, Moxie.
Yeah, and not on Taka.
Yeah. But we take a look here. A lot of these players playing slow here as it is Zone 4 collapsing down onto Zone 5 very shortly here. We're going to see that last Bane coming through as these players look to play around our lovely Moore's Blessing here. We haven't seen that gold set of armor come through, but Roishishi trying to go in, looking to potentially pick it up here, but it's Shaw going in. Shaw will be able to pick up that gold set of armor here. This is very typical of the old boy GG Shaw. A little run in, get me some armor, and get out of dodge. He plays it so well too, right? He waits for Roishishi to make the attempt, and as the other players turn their attention to Roishishi, he goes in, picks up the armor, and gets out. He takes very minimal damage doing so.
He has Hung Sword too, which is one of the best weapons for mobility. Like, you don't need to be able to scare with Hung Sword, you just go for the Shadow Step. As a result with a legendary Hong So too. He's going to be really hard to pin down and try and come in with that light stagger, as there is a potential fight going through. Shad doesn't want to hard commit because he knows that Mike is in the area, and he wisely actually uses the awning to be able to obscure his position so that Mike moves past him. This means that Mike is now in the middle, and as a player, when it comes to the positioning, especially in solos, you do not want to be that player in the middle because everyone just flanks you, and if you get turned on to, everyone is immediately going to come out of the woodwork and collapse on to that target that is low and easily susceptible to outside pressure. Speaking about pressure, we are still going to see the ballista in play for a little bit longer. XTG's Wang Liang with the Z ping, able to survive the pressure coming through from both Sha and Mike, will be able to put himself into a different place, entirely losing Mike's LOS so that he doesn't know where exactly that zip's run off to, and by the time that he sees the next, he'll be back to full health and probably with a full ultimate as well. As I think until the zone collapses, we're not likely going to see a fight actually begin to break out, as all of these players know, the Justina especially, you do not want to use your ultimate early because these players do not want to let a Justina with that ultimate make it to final zones. We're going to see CDY coming in with the pillar control of that V3, looking to connect onto Sha. Sha with the pillar connection, also finding CDY, two Farrier mirrors, trying to find any advantage that they can. CDY going into the mech, using the cannon, tries to buffet Sha away from getting into his, won't be able to find the connection, and it goes back into that primary fire. CDY taking a lot of stagger off of Sha's much more successful cannon shots coming on through. Sha utilizing those boosters to make it a little bit harder for CDY to be able to find a connection and stagger off of the back of it. It feels less like we're playing Naraka and much more like we're playing a Mecha 1v1 right now. There's 20 seconds left on the Realm of Yang. Both these players now out of their ultimate. Fan coming on through from Sha, flashing the parry. CDY going into it. This is one of the biggest problems that Pantaman and CDY have faced in the past, going for that blue a little bit too aggressively. Shara is able to find the reads this time around, coming on in with the jump horizontals to get even more damage on CDY, and another parry to finally be able to confirm the kill. Is looking back into what's happening live now, we can actually see that there is a fight going on because the Pains ref is actually dropped in such an awkward position, and everyone wants to take advantage of all that this provides. The Z-Ping much more confidence to be able to go into this area, knowing that they can take the reset and still heal through all of the AoE damage, as opposed to things like the Tessa and the Farrier, who have to be a lot more careful that they don't get hit by one of those, because unlike the Zip, if they don't have something like Tunad, they're not going to be able to stay mobile and keep that health bar topped up, and that's going to mean them much more vulnerable to everyone else in the area. 16 seconds left, and this really impactful Banes ref is going to have major ramifications on how the rest of this round plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw there, unfortunately, GG Sha take a couple of hits and burn through the very few shield pots that he does have. I do believe he's down to 1 or 2 now, at the cost of getting that gold armor completely rehealed. And we talk about this all the time. Coming into these late stages of the game, having those resources is extremely important. Okay, he has 3. Maybe he found one somewhere. But finding those resources at this stage of the game is very difficult to do, except for taking them off of a body. And of course, taking them off of a body means taking that risk, taking an engagement into these final zones. There's 7 players left alive. Any single engagement you potentially overcommit to could shove you out of this lobby, as we see Sha topside here trying to take control of the high ground. Will CDY up here just holding with that pole sword for the little bit of ground that he's been able to take. Roy Shishi holding down just below here in a fairly decent position. He's in a position where you can quickly scale rush away if somebody wants to try to challenge it, or if somebody does try to challenge it, they have to come from below, and he should
Mike's playing out of line of sight too.
Yeah,
like,
Mike,
he's playing super out of line. It's like he's the only Justina in this lobby. I don't think he wants these players to know that there's still a Justina rune, because we've got 2 Farriers, 2 Tessas, 2 Zips, and a Justina left, and the Justina hot counters both the Farriers. So he does not want to show his hand. He does not want to reveal that he's still playing in this lobby. You can actually see him just there playing under one of those rock shelves to make sure that he doesn't really get spotted out by some of these players. No surprises that the Tess is, ooh, that's a nice little Merciless Havoc to have in the back pocket for Jux to be able to control all of the spacing, as well as use that blue focus and golden focus to be able to make sure that he dodges out of a lot of this cannon pressure coming on through from Wang Liang at the top side. Merciless Havoc, one of those soldiers that only gets better as the round continues. The closer that fights begin, the closer that the zone becomes. If you find the connection with the Merciless Havoc into pushing some of these players out, then you get so much more value from not just the zone take damage, but also exhausting the stamina bars from everyone else. And Jux wants to actually utilize this to threaten the spacing of everyone on the high ground. Mike still playing hide and seek at the moment. He does not want to get spotted. He does not want to let everyone know that there is a Justina, and when the zone collapses up, everyone is potentially going to get frozen up as well. The more clumped up these players are, the more that ultimate is going to be able to connect onto players, and that is jabbing. An absolute monster of a Soul Jade. It doesn't have any visual cue. You don't know that it's coming through until you're already dead with how fast that focus rate hits you. And that one kill rune has set into motion an absolute spiral, as unfortunately GG Sha comes under so much pressure that he's actually forced into investing the V3 early, putting himself up into the high ground. He now has to try and pressure out some of these other players, turning their health bars low, so that when he drops out of the mech, everyone else goes on them and not him instead. The Ferian not going to have access to that V3 when the zone starts to collapse, so pushing some of these players into the backside of taking all of that corruption tick damage. Sha now out of the ultimate, utilizing the spacing on the Hang Sword, holding on to those charge focuses for as long as he possibly can, so no one can find a grapple cancel to start off a fight engagement. Wang Liang taking pressure from Frostivus, who also wants to hold on to this high ground. But look at what Mike is doing, Rune. He's hiding. He's waiting for his right moment to strike. He's already got 8 kills, but if he plays this the correct way, he may make that double digits as GG Sha takes so much pressure. Roy Shisha trying to come in with the Tessa ultimate and put even more pressure out of the frying pan into the fire by running away from the Tessa. Sha spread himself to the absolute wolves. Steely White comes in with the kill, and now he's looking for one onto Mike.
Oh my goodness, Mike so low going topside here with that staff, trying to just keep the dream alive here. He does have one more dash left here. Can he turn the attention onto somebody else? No, the fan in the back alliance in front of us drops from the top side and catches out OUG's Mike. Mike leaves the lobby with 8 eliminations under his belt, though. Nobody in range to be able to take that MVP away from him here, as Will CDY here will be caught out into the Tessa ultimate, wants to try to get that cannon out. Roy Shishi goes so low, and it is Will CDY who's able to pick up the elimination. Picks up 4 eliminations, is going to come down here, looks to get the pot off. Frostivus coming in, will be forced to invest the F here, as we do see Frostivus and CDY continuing to be knocked into the zone here by the staff. Wang Liang coming in, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see CDY go all the way down on the bottom of the hill. No place to go as Wang Liang picks up the elimination, and it's Frostivus versus Wang Liang. Wang Liang with no health will go down.